Mad. I'ma feed 5-4 fun, money making animal. Don't put me in.
Okay, from here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park, I want in. You guys got fat while everybody starved on the street. It's my turn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ask Mad Show. I am Mad, your Duke of Tribal Kingdom, international man of leisure, the Caesar of the universal players, your secret agent man giving you the game on all things. And I want to address something from the previous episode before I get into the crux of what this episode is about. I have to address something from the previous episode. So I told a few stories, you know what I'm saying, that was personal to me in light of the Nolan Wells murder investigation down there in Mississippi. And I told some stories where I may have been in danger, and I used my perception of the situation to my advantage. And these stories have grabbed the attention of people who knew these individuals, whether they, knew them as a friend, family, whatever, or just knew of them. Look here, man. If you friends or allies or you keep the company of racists, you are no friend of mine. Okay? If you are friends, allies, or you keep the company of racist people, you are no friend of mine. We not teenagers no more. We not kids. We are grown adults. You dig what I'm saying? And this country has a history that we are all aware of. Everybody know if you from this country, if you got grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-great-great-grandparents like me, then you know the history of this nation all too well. And it's our job to advocate for justice and align ourselves with people who share our ideology, right? And so, therefore, if you align yourself with racists, your ideology dictates that you oppose me and my people. And with that said, I want you to stay as far away from me as possible. Stay away from me. Don't comment under my posts. Don't view my stories. Unfollow me and stay in your racist bubble. I don't care who those peoples is to you. They're nobody to me. And if that's somebody that meant something to you, then you're nobody to me. And you should stay over there with them. We're not kids. We grown. At this point, everybody knows what it is and what it ain't. And if you indecisive, you in the middle, you on the fence, you don't know what side you want to be on, that lets me know everything. And I'm going to push you over there with them if that's the side you want to be on secretly, right? And that's that, okay? And, the irony of that is these are the same people who love Tom Hollands Spiderman and hate Zendaya. I went to go see the Spider-Man, Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. I went to go see the movie, and I'm not particularly impressed with none of it, right? But these people, they like Tom Holland Spider-Man, but they don't like Zendaya's MJ. And I don't like her character either. I don't like her being MJ, Michelle Jones Watson, some variation of Mary Jane Watson. But I also don't like Tom Holland Spider-Man, some little punk Kitty Land type Peter Parker dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that Kitty Land element that he brings to Spider-Man. I get Spider-Man is supposed to be a cartoon. It's a superhero. It's supposed to be for kids. What the bam. But let's just be real. You can still have mature themes and you can still have morals and lessons and whatnot in these movies without it being centered around some type of Kitty Land aesthetic. Like, first of all, Spider-Man, Peter Parker that is, never needed to be a part of a group. Let me just dissect real quickly. I'm not even finna do like a full movie review, but let me just dissect what I don't like about Tom Holland's Peter Parker or his Spider-Man. I don't like that his Spider-Man yearns to be a part of a group so badly. I don't like that. Like, Spider-Man was always a solo act. He didn't have a sidekick, and he wasn't nobody else's sidekick. I don't understand this whole, I get to have a secret identity, but only my friends know it, and if anybody else know it, it's a problem. It's like, bro, like, why you need to be a part of the group to begin with? I don't get that. Spider-Man was always a solo act, always somebody who did stuff on his own. Even when it came down to his love interest, he was always disappointing them. He would disappoint his female love interest, whether it was Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Felicia Hardy. Like, he would always disappoint them in one way or another because he's busy off being Spider-Man. When did all of a sudden his Peter Parkerism become more important than the Spider-Manism? Because that's what this movie tried to do. This movie tried to fix a mistake that they made with the previous 3 movies by trying to make it seem like it was stupid for people to have an issue with it to begin with. They tried to make him, well, let's make him more into Spider-Man because people got a problem with all his Peter Parkerisms and him just wanting to be Peter Parker the whole time. So let's show what happens when he just focused on being Spider-Man. And what ended up happening? Well, he ends up turning into a spider. That's like, what? That's stupid. That's stupid. Him turning into a spider had nothing to do with him being Spider-Man all day and not being Peter Parker. And why not let him be Peter Parker a little bit? Why it gotta be this extreme, right? Why does he either have to be a nerdy little kid with his nerdy friends as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and everybody know it, or he got to be some reclusive Spider-Man who only talks to a detective the whole time, and we don't know what kind of job he got, we don't know what he do for a living, his auntie died, never had an Uncle Ben. That whole fact that you did that to begin with is where y'all messed up. Y'all should have gave him an Uncle Ben. You should have gave him an Uncle Ben so that way when he's reclusive away from friends or disappointing friends, he still got his auntie. That was the whole point of it. He still got Aunt May. He taking care of Aunt May. That's his whole Peter Parker identity. It's not his friends. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Harry Osborn. It wasn't Mary Jane Watson. It wasn't his friends. It was his Aunt May. That's what kept him as Peter. That's what kept him grounded. You killed his Aunt May, never gave him an uncle, so now he don't know who to be. And now he needs his friends in order to be Peter Parker. It's whack. It's lame. Forget all the source material and all that. It just don't make for good storytelling because you take away the emotional part, and now the friends is that, and they getting too involved, and it makes the movie convoluted. You don't even really do the rogues gallery that well. You do this little montage flash of his villains where that's just an afterthought, and the important part is his friendship, and then you do the whole Jean Grey villain antagonist element where now you get to use his auntie. It's very confusing. It's all convoluted, right? And the fact that he got to refer to everybody else instead of relying on his own intelligence is another thing about this Spider-Man that I don't like. Y'all can like him all y'all want to and hate Zendaya. I think that he's the problem, and Zendaya is a ripple effect, just like his Aunt May is a ripple effect, because that's all the problem. Ned being this, like, the Flash Thompson that y'all chose for this universe, all of that is a ripple effect of who you chose to be Spider-Man to begin with. You dig what I'm saying? If his first 3 movies was about developmental years, if it was about developing him to be a superhero, Tony Stark, Iron Man, being his mentor and growing through that, and knowing that he can't trust other people, he tried to trust the Mysterio character as some sort of mentor. Nick Fury isn't a reliable mentor. If y'all use those first 3 movies for him to develop, and then the last one, which was the No Way Home, to have the other Spider-Man from the other universes come basically show him how it's done. In both of those Spider-Men, they didn't have no group of friends like that they relied on. They didn't have connections with the police department that they could use. Y'all won't let this dude be a grown man for some reason. Y'all just won't let him be a man. Y'all want to keep taking from him. And I wonder if this is like some type of control thing. You know what I'm saying? And all of this, in a nutshell, this whole Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Brand New Day thing, and what this movie turned out to be versus what it could have been, it just lead me to what my question is today. Because if them first 3 films was about development and developing him as a superhero, it makes me think about the entertainment industry, specifically the music industry, and what I keep seeing or what I keep hearing. I keep seeing and hearing, and I've been hearing this for some years now, and it's culminated into me asking this question. I keep hearing people say that's what the game needs. The game needs artist development. That's what's missing in today's music industry. And my question is, what is artist development? What is artist development? I keep hearing people talk about it, and it's needed in today's industry, and nobody can adequately define what it is. Nobody could give me an adequate definition of what artist development is. Everybody got a different opinion. Everybody got a different definition of artist development. And even though they all got a different opinion or definition about it, they all keep saying that that's what we need. And in my opinion, I don't think people need artist development. I think all of them years of the music industry being what it is, the hip hop, they just had the 50th anniversary of hip hop last year or whatever, or 2 years ago, whenever that was. To me, all of that was development. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others while a fool is destined to repeat them. Right? Why would you need quote unquote artist development the same way you had it back then if we watched what it did for artists back then and how they turned out today? Them same artists who quote unquote say that they had artist development and that that's what's needed today, they're not necessarily successful in music, right? They were successful because they was promoted. And if promotion is a part of artist development, then that's what you're basically saying, that people need promotion. But that's not what y'all actually saying. Y'all making it out to be the artist's fault, and that the reason why artists aren't succeeding is because there's no artist development, and that's the fault of the artist because they won't listen to nobody. That's the main issue with it. Y'all don't want to listen to nobody. I keep telling artists to do this and do that, but they don't want to listen to nobody. Listen to you for what? If somebody see that you trying to fuck over them based on the fact that they done already seen countless other artists go through this and it only worked for the select few, then why should they listen to you? Why should they not trust their instincts and their gut? And it ain't the internet fault. Because they keep claiming that we don't have artist development because you have social media, you have the internet. You know what I mean? But the reality is they want autonomy over you, and they want to call it development. They want to be able to control you and tell you what to do. And if it don't work, then you must ain't do it right. And the fact of the matter is we have social media to see it in real time. So you can't lie to the people. And we got an artist that we watching in real time who got marketing, got A&Rs, got all of this stuff, but they still not being successful in music. Then how can you say that artist development is what's needed? How can you say that when you got artists who got artist development, but nobody's happy? Nobody happy. And those who don't got A&Rs and who don't, quote unquote, have artist development, they in the same boat as the ones who do. So what's the big difference maker? The difference maker is fame. That's the difference maker, because with streaming, as we know, ain't nobody getting paid off streaming. You dig? Nobody's getting paid off streaming, so nobody's in a rush really to do it. People do it because they acquiesce into what y'all saying. This quote-unquote artist development. Tell people to have a website. Tell people to get professional photos, professional videos, post on social media 3, 4, 6 times a day. Be on TikTok. Make a dance on TikTok. Create 1,000 pieces of content for every song you got. What are you doing? When you wake up in the morning, play the song and show yourself getting dressed. That's content. That's stupid. Okay? Why would I get dressed to my own song? That's stupid. Okay? That don't make sense. No, somebody else is supposed to get dressed to your song and they post it. That's the piece of content that had nothing to do with the artist itself. And so if people like the music, then naturally they're going to want to listen to it. And if they want to listen to it, they're going to listen to it while they doing all kind of things. You could be cleaning up your house. The other night I come home, right? And my girl at the crib, she cleaning the crib up and she listening to Ain't That a Kick in the Head? She listening to Frank Sinatra and As These Skies Are Blue and Louis Armstrong in her belt. That's life. You know what I'm saying? People are going to listen to the music and do whatever they doing while they listening to it. Why should the artist take it upon themselves to have to? Because honestly, man, just like in Spider-Man, where he's doing nothing but being Spider-Man the whole time, how is he making money? Like, what is he doing to make money? And if you don't get paid off streaming as an artist and you got to make all this content, that costs money. Where you getting the money from to do all of this? You know what I'm saying? Artists today are more conscious of the past failures and they see the finesse coming. You know what I'm saying? So they pivot. You know what I'm saying? If you see, let's say Nori, for example, right? Let's use Nori. Nori pivoted from music to podcasting, so he got Drink Champs. Joe Budden pivoted from music to podcasting, so he got the Joe Budden podcast. But they didn't only do that. They also did radio, High 97, What the Bam. Joe Budden did, what was that show he did with academics on Complex? It was some show. It was like one of the first of its kind, but they was just talking hip hop or whatever. People have done other things to pivot because of their past failures. Now, both of those people are people who not only had artist development, they got platinum records. You know what I'm saying? Nori went platinum in what, 98, 99, I think, something like that. Nori had a big joint. But if you don't know how it all went down, you're going to be confused to think that was artist development. No, it was corporate. You know what I'm saying? Artist development is corporate meddling. That's really what it is. It's corporate meddling. And at the end of the day, they're going to use you and abuse you. When they done juiced you and ain't nothing left, they're going to throw you in the garbage. And you're going to have to pivot anyway. So if you can see that coming down the line where you're going to have to make a pivot, why wouldn't you create some sort of reservation for yourself? Why wouldn't you have alternative means for yourself? And a part of that requires you to not be so present, to not give yourself so fully into this quote unquote artist development, because you're going to need something when they done with you. You dig what I'm saying? So I don't know, like they try to say we won't listen to them, and you know, and that's the reason why we not what we supposed to be as artists, and that's why the game is in the condition that it's in. But again, why would you willingly let somebody take advantage of you? Like, why would you sign up to get fucked? You know what I'm saying? By a quote unquote A&R, a manager, a producer, whoever it is that's telling you this is what you need to do, but you done seen the past failures or not just artists from the past, but your own failures, because everybody come in this game green. Everybody come in this game wet behind the ears and misty-eyed. Everybody come in this game with some sort of fanciful ideology where you looking at it in a fantasy sort of way. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that you apparently, obviously wanted to do since you was a kid. Since you was a kid, you wanted to be a rapper, a singer, some sort of entertainer. And you basically wanted to do whatever it is that somebody who you believe to be in a position to help you, whatever they tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? I won't even talk about myself, man, to be honest with you, but I know that there are countless of people who then went through all sort of different camps. Not to be click hopping, but it's along your journey of elevation where you come into contact with somebody on this level, and then as you keep going, you keep coming into contact with different people on different levels. And what you end up doing is you end up taking the advice or taking the direction or the instruction of all these different people, because you say, man, how did they get to this point? How did they get to this point? And if they say, oh, I did this or I did that, or you need to do this, you need to do that, why wouldn't you do it? Of course you do it. Right? You do everything that's suggested to you, and then you look around and you see that you nowhere closer than you was before you started. And the only progress that you've made is the stuff that you've done on your own. The only progress that you've made is the things that you took your hard-earned money, wherever you got it from, and you put it into yourself. You invested in yourself. Them telling you what to spend your money on, yeah, that may give you some direction. It may give you some insight, but the money ain't coming from them. You look at them artists from back in the day, whether it's Joe Budden, Nori, because I just talked about them too, they wasn't putting up their own money. They wasn't. And if somebody tell you that they did, they lying to you. Somebody else had to put the money up. And then they was able to get their quote unquote artist development. But the money didn't come from them. Today, the money coming from us. Today, the money is coming from the artists. Those select few who get corporate funding or whatever, they are a part of something bigger than we know. They're a part of something clandestine that they don't want people to really know the truth of. But when you get close enough to it, you should be able to crack the code and see what that is. How are they able to be in the positions that they're able to be in? But before we get to that part, because that's a part of today's show as well, right? The behind the scenes. Before we get to that part, I want to show some videos about this quote unquote artist development. And we're gonna sit here and see what exactly is being said. Because it's a lot of things being said that don't necessarily, in my opinion, don't really add up to what's going on. So let's see what's being said, and let's react to some of these videos, man. You dig? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I don't have this sort of mentality to just do what people tell me to do. That ain't me. That ain't my vibe at all, man. So let's get into it real quick. You dig?
Idea of just A&R and period. That's probably the biggest issue we have in hip hop now.
So this is fella Knife Wonder. Knife Wonder is a producer, and the question that's being asked to him is, what is the biggest issue that we have in hip hop? And this is his response.
Idea of just A&R and period. That's probably the biggest issue we have in hip hop now. No artist development, and I learned this from Jimmy Jam, and he said, Knife, artists can't pick records. And I said, oh boy, you done gave me the weapon of a lifetime. Because they are attached to a record totally different than the reason why we're attached to a record as far as producers, right? It might mean a lot to them. I said this, I like this line, I like these lines. It feels a way. But for us, it's like, the people ain't gonna like it though. The idea of just A&R and period.
Let's watch it again.
That's probably the biggest issue we have in hip hop now. No artist development, and I learned this from Jimmy Jam, and he said, Knife, artists can't pick records.
I guess not.
And I said, oh boy, you done gave me the weapon of a lifetime.
Because it's a weapon for them.
They are attached to a record totally different than the reason why we're attached to a record as far as producers, right? It might mean a lot to them. I said this, I like this line, I like these lines. It feels a way. But for us, it's like, the people ain't gonna like it though. The idea of just A&R.
The people ain't gonna like it though. So, as a producer, he sees certain things, yeah. And as a producer, he likes certain lines that a rapper. I'm assuming he talking about rap because he maybe talking about R&B and rap. I'm assuming he produces for both genres of music, whatever. But Jimmy Jam is a legendary producer and all of that. So that's this fella telling him that artists can't pick records was a weapon for him. I don't know why he called it a weapon. Something he wants to weaponize against them, which means that he wants to control what songs get pushed. He wants to control basically the artist itself. And that is the antithesis of being an artist. That's the antithesis of artistry, man. You can't do that and think that there's not going to be a resentment being built or the person isn't going to learn from it, because it's a challenge. It is a challenge in some way where you think that you know better and you think that that's going to fly long term, even in the short term, because they're inclined to listen to you because they see you as an expert. They see you as a professional, somebody who know what they talking about. But what ends up happening is, if the song that you pick, Mr. Producer Man, don't actually go over, why should the artist listen to you the second time around? Because you're going to blame them. You're not going to take responsibility. While you sitting up there talking, you not finna take responsibility for picking a song that didn't nobody like. You gonna make it seem like the artist they self had a problem when they made the song, when they listening to you. So over the years, people have learned to stop listening to y'all. You talking about what Jimmy Jam told you. When was that? Back in the 80s or something? Back in the 90s or something? Again, that was a completely different time period. That money wasn't coming from the artists. That money was coming from the corporations. Now the money is coming from the artist. The artist got to pay for their own studio time, got to pay for their own beats. And so they sitting there making the whole record. A lot of these artists is even producing their own beats just to save some money. And they got home studios so that they can save some money and not have to go pay an engineer. And you still want to make it seem as if they supposed to listen to you when they got way more riding on it than you got riding on it. Now, if you done made the beat, you done produced the beat, you get a percentage out of it. You get a cut. So, of course, you got something riding on it where you want it to succeed, but you trying to cut the legs off from the artist. And so if they didn't pick the song do well, then yeah, they inclined to listen to you. And if they didn't pick the song and the song don't do well, then why would they listen to you the second time around? They're going to be more apprehensive, more hesitant to listen to what you're saying and to accept that artist development is what they actually need, because they not doing that for free either. That's costing them. This A&R and this artist development is costing artists money. And it ain't small potatoes. You dig what I'm saying? It ain't nothing to sneeze at. Like, the money that's being spent, that shit could have been spent elsewhere. You dig what I'm saying? And so this is the producer A&R. This is the producer version of what artist development is. You dig what I'm saying? For him, it's about picking songs, you know, and that's about as far as it went in that clip. Now, if it's a longer, you know what I'm saying, video where he's breaking down exactly what it is that he looks at artist development to be, then I didn't see that, and, you know, I could be wrong in the long form. But with this clip that we just sit up here and watched, it's the same. To me, it just boils down to you wanting to control something, because you said it's a weapon. You dig? It's a weapon, so it boils down to you wanting to be in control. Because you can't do what that artist can do, more than likely. And they can't do what you can do in terms of producing. But they have the same level of creativity, if not more than you. And they got the balls to stand out there and perform it in front of people. And they have to be able to do that confidently. And so a part of them being able to do that confidently is them picking the record. Now, you can pick a beat for them and tell them why they should perform on this beat. You did, whether it's a rap or a hip hop song, or if it's an R&B song, and you should tell them, like, no, you should do this because of this, because of that, woo, 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 and this and that. And as they rapping, or if they singing and they coming up with their lyrics, and you may be in there to say, don't deliver it this way, deliver it that way. That is a part of producing. So yeah, you can definitely see how the audience is going to respond to the way that they say it or the way that they rap it. But in terms of what they saying and what they doing and what songs get played, that's just way too much control. Way too much control with no guarantee of success. You're not guaranteeing them success just because you saying that you know what songs to play or you know what songs to go with. You're not guaranteeing success. Now you have somebody on the other side of that who is basically guaranteeing that this is going to work one way or another. They basically guaranteeing that if you listen to them, if you do what they say do, then you're going to be I'll make you a celebrity overnight. Why don't we play something these hoes are like? Dry whips, I know they lied. Twister, you told them right. I can make you a celebrity overnight. Get you ice like Kobe, wife. We sort of like Goldie, right? The way we mold them, right? I can make you a celebrity overnight. No, I'm sorry. Let me stop playing. But this is what this fella is alleged. We finna watch this other video and react to this other video where you got somebody who's an A&R. They're not an artist A&R. They're not a producer A&R. They just a behind the scenes A&R. Yeah, this is one of the many influential Jewish people in the music industry, and he's gonna talk about what it is that he believes the game needs and what he believes that people should be doing in terms of, you know, listening to him and going along with him. Now, this is a long video, so we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but we're gonna let him speak about what he's talking about.
You know, so no, they fucking know what it is. No one wants to invest in themselves. No one wants to spend their own money. That's why, just to go back to 38 Special, Special's always done it on his own. When a label comes in and wants to give him fuckloads of money, is it worth it? Should we take it? Yes or no? Like I said, yeah, we did a deal for almost $1 million the other week, but we also a month ago turned down a different deal for $3 million. The different deal was selling the label catalog. The $1 million was just for new Trust albums. You know, good, cool. We still own the shit. Make it happen. But Spesh, if he's like, yo, I feel the fucking need to write, and I got this idea for an album, I'm going to go ahead and put it out. We did Mother and Gun. That's us. Stabbed and Shot 2 came out with a different company that just paid us.
Write.
Like,
he's
you see
not
it goes both
telling what
ways.
songs to pick. He's
But
telling
a lot
them
of
to
these
do it.
artists, like, remember, the album, they've been talking about it for 4 or 5 years now. Method Man and Havoc. Dirty P. Okay? Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
The album's done. It's been done. These dudes just want the bag. Find a label to just buy us out. No labels doing that, bro. Why do labels don't do that? Because one, these albums can only win now in the modern day if the artist is backing it. Like, artists do the most. Like, look at Rakim right now. He's doing a great job of promoting the Rakim Mash Kill Corrupt album. Why? Because he has a financial interest in its sales.
If you just sell the album to the label and then you don't care anymore, you're like, I don't care if it sells a lot. I already got my money.
Why wouldn't they care?
So then the label's fucking left with their dicks in their hand. So then it's about, if we're going to buy it, we need to...
Wait a minute. I love how these people just sit back in their offices. They ain't recorded nothing. They ain't rapped nothing. They didn't produce nothing. But they sitting back telling people what it is that the artist is thinking. The artists don't want to. Why would they care about it? They already got paid. They don't care if it sells. Why wouldn't they care? It's their legacy. They obviously care about whether or not they sold a little, if they sold a lot, even if they got paid up front. The reason they getting paid up front is because streaming is jacking them. Artists ain't getting paid up front because they don't care about whether or not their music sell. They getting paid up front because they know they're not gonna get paid on the back end because streaming ain't paying nothing. So if you want to do a deal with them, yeah, you gotta give them $3 million up top. You gotta give them $2 million up front because they know they're not gonna make that money through streaming revenue. And so however you make your money, they looking at it like that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you the one quote unquote A&R on a record. You know what I'm saying? You in charge of distribution. They in charge of the creation portion. But what it was before was, it was the same elements. They was in charge of distribution. The artist was in charge of creation. But guess what? When they distributed the physical copies, the sales generated came back and the artist was able to get paid after the fact. Even if they got signed and got a nice advance, they wasn't getting them big, heavy advances back in the day like that. But they were able to make money from their record sales. And ain't nobody selling music like that because streaming has cut the legs off of that. And so, yeah, I'm going to need my money up front, especially if I'm finna tour for free, if I'm finna perform for free. If I can't get no royalties or nothing until I recoup, yeah, I'm going to need that up front because I got things to do. Otherwise, they'll just put it out themselves. And you talking about Method Man and Havoc, you talking about Rakim and Corrupt. These are legacy acts. These are people who came out in the 80s and 90s. They are well-established artists. And so why should they go hoorah over something that they done been doing 20, 30 some years? It don't make sense. They've been doing it 30, 40 years, and you want them to have the same energy level that somebody who just came out a couple years ago got, promoting a joint. Method Man is doing acting and all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, heavy into the acting world. Heavy. I don't know what the brother Havoc is doing, but I'm sure he's got other things he's doing as well. These people are fathers, damn near grandfathers. Rakim is definitely a grandfather. If he ain't one, he look like it. So you talking about, yeah, he's got a vested interest in it financially, so that's why you see him promoting it. Nah, you got a vested interest in it because you love hip hop. You want to be the best. You want to be considered to be the best. So a part of that is selling. But if we know by now that you got Slim Shady, the Beastie, whoever that's going to sell whatever amount of records based on whatever type of music they putting out, then now ain't nobody really caring about that part because they see the fixes in. But if you actually care about the game itself and the quote unquote 5 elements and all of that, and you really down for it like that, then yeah, you obviously do care more than just about the sales. You care about how it sound. And so you got one person in the beginning saying that artists don't know how to pick music. And then you got this dude saying, well, artists don't really care about what happened because I guess it got something to do with them not being financially invested, which means they didn't put up the money for this or for that. And so now when they do put up the money, they accidentally they care now. No, you doing the same thing. You just doing a different variation of what he doing. You want to blame the artist for the reason that something ain't successful, but they went in there and they made the music. And the fact that you either sign them or you doing some kind of business with them, that means you value what it is that they do. You value their ability in one way or another, whether it's to write music, perform it, or the way that they look, they image. You see that this is marketable, that you can sell it. And so they gave you what that was that you can now turn around and do your job. And they're expecting you to do it, but you want to blame them for the lack of results. But this fella here, he guarantees results. But let's finish what he got to say.
It needed to be a smart amount of money. They're asking for a clearly super exorbitant amount of money, and that's why the album sits. But I tell you this, you hire someone like me, we put the album out, we work it together. In 1 year, I would make them that exorbitant amount of money. But without us doing it together, it can't make that amount of money.
Okay. So you got to hire him. If you get with him, y'all going to make the money, Joe. All you got to do is get with dude. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna in a year time, he gonna break it down for you how it's gonna all work. But you gotta trust him.
Yeah, the album here sits. The album sits. I would love for the world to have it. I'm sure it's a great record. They released that one single with Street Life, the Squad Up. That was forever ago. I was still friends with Fat Beats then.
Do you feel like a lot of times these artists are short-sighted in that way that they don't see, like if they just put in a little elbow grease and hire the right person like you, that they could make the amount of money that they want?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
That affects his bottom line.
You can ask Ghostface's manager. Even though I came out ahead on that deal, I still paid Ghostface like it was a fucking Def Jam deal. But no, you're signed to Holy Twitter Productions. You can work with people and still win without trying to beat someone. That's just what it is, man.
These are all established acts.
And now the fans suffer. The album sits. That album 4-5. Done for 3, 4, 5.
These are all established acts, by the way. Everybody that's being referenced is an established act. They're all established. Now, I went on ahead and I checked out what this fella, what he offers, man. I went on and checked out what it is that this dude offers. And we about to see what it is that he offers on his contracts, man. So, M80, the A&R extraordinaire, 50 Billboard Top 100 rap chart placements, 25 plus RIAA gold and platinum certifications, 14.8 plus million records sold, Grammy nominated, giving you his resume. So let's go through it. A&R service overview and work history guide. Let's go through this guide that he is talking about, man. Let's go through this real quick, man. Mr. M80, the A&R extraordinaire, right? A&R service overview and work history guide, 2025. Artist development, studio preparation and recording techniques. Okay, I guess people need you to do that. Maybe if they ain't never been in the studio before. Maybe if they don't got years of recording under their belt to hone their skills and find their sound and then tune it, they might need you to prepare a studio and teach them recording techniques. What else? Media preparation and social media branding for future success, right? You need somebody to prepare you to be able to talk to the media, and you need somebody to help you with your social media branding, because you just doing videos of you at the gym or taking pictures of your lunch or what you ate for dinner last night. Nah, they need you need them to tell you how to market yourself. You need them how to tell you how to brand yourself for social media. You did? Proper release scheduling, including the formation of an album, breakdown of singles, etc. Again, you as an artist, you don't know how to do this by yourself. Yeah? You don't know how to schedule a release. You dig what I'm saying? You don't know how to form an album, and you don't know how to break down singles. You don't know how to do that. You need an A&R to tell you how to do that. So that's your artist development portion of what he provides. Now let's get into his A&R services. Artist and repertoire. Acquiring the desired producers and guest artist features at the request of artists within the artist's desired working budget. So you got to pay for this. He ain't paying for this. You paying for this. You got to pay for this, okay? So if you like if you want a certain producer, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to, a beat by this person or whoever, you want a Pharrell beat, whatever, you need him to get it. If you want a guest feature, I guess he can get anybody on speed dial. Drake, Kendrick Lamar, he got you on that. But it got to be in your budget. He ain't paying for it. And you got to pay him for him to go get that. What's that? Album sequencing. Studio recommendations for professional mixing and mastering and music business consultation. This is his A&R services. He's going to show you how to sequence your album. Never mind the fact that you made all the songs. All them songs on that album, you made all of them. It came from you, but you don't know what order to put them in. You don't know sequencing. I'm not saying that that's not a thing. It can be, but who cares? Who cares about sequencing when this is what you vision? This is your vision, man. This is what you created. This is what you think. This is how you made the sound, the flow. You mean to tell me you just went in there and made a whole bunch of random songs and you don't know how to put them together? No, when an artist really has a project in mind where they want to make a project, they got the whole tone of the album in mind already before they start making it. And as they curating and creating all the music, it's not after the fact. It's while it's being made. While it's being made, just like a sculptor sculpts a sculpture and you sitting there or paints a painting. As it's being done, the ideas keep coming to you as an artiste. You dig? And so you're creating as it go. If it's a whole album, then you're going to be able to do it with a whole album. If it's a sculpture, if it's a painting, as you continuously doing it, you're doing the sequencing. You don't need somebody to come after the fact and tell you that. You don't need studio recommendations for professional mixing and mastering. Where did you record it at? Again, if you did it at your home, then yeah, you would need him for that, but you wouldn't need him who to recommend. You dig? Social media and blog presence via PR fulfillment, full service ad campaigns, radio and playlist curation coordination. It's a lot of fancy words to basically say the same thing he just said in artist development with social media branding and blog. He wants you to pay him to reach out to people. The people that if you reach out to them, they're going to ignore you because that's how the game is. You can reach out to these same individuals for, for press, right? For people to be able to talk about your release, do an ad campaign and radio playlist curation. You can reach out to them and they might ignore you. But this fella, because of some reason that hasn't been acknowledged or stated, they gonna listen to what he got to say. They gonna listen to him before they listen to you. So you need him to reach out to them for you on your behalf, and you got to pay for that because it's a service. It says it right there, full service, ad campaign, radio and playlist curation coordination. You got to pay for that. Yeah, it's not for free. So that's a part of his A&R services. What about A&R administration? All associated administrative tasks per selected record as they pertain to be respective client, including. I don't know what that means, but we're going to see what it includes. It includes legal guest artist sign-offs, legal guest production sign-offs, legal song split memos in accordance with industry standard guidelines, copyright registration, publishing house registration and follow-through, royalty accounting, BW, BPS, and Nielsen registration, sample clearance registration, label contract review and accounts receivable upkeep, etc. Homie, not only could you do all of this by yourself, it is strenuous, it's tedious, right? They got AI technology to do a lot of this stuff now. If you do a song with a guest artist, before y'all do the song, y'all have to do a split sheet. So you have to, if you're going to give them a percentage of the record, you got to do a split sheet to say how much of it you're going to give them, how many points you're going to give them. And if you're going to pay them just for the guest feature up front, then the invoice that they give you for that guest feature is going to cover that part of it. You dig? And when they sign off on it, basically when you pay them, and you draft the contract or the quote unquote work for hire, because that's what that is, a work for hire, that say, hey, I'm paying you to do this and this is how much I'm giving you, and they sign that, that's that right there. You don't need this fella to do that for you unless you dumb and stupid or something. And again, this ain't the 80s and 90s. This is the information age. We got the internet. Not only do we have the internet, we now have artificial intelligence to draft these documents up for us. Never mind the fact that these templates exist. All you got to do is look them up. They got templates for this because that's all he finna do. He finna get a template and then plug in names. That's all he finna do. Names and prices and dates. Legal guest production sign off. Same thing. Work for hire. If you as a producer, if I'm paying you and I'm not giving you points on the record, I got to give you publishing. Right? But that's what the split sheet is. The same thing that you're going to do with a guest artist feature. You dig? And you'd say exactly how many points that we agree upon for this record. How much percentage that the producer own, how much do I own? Here's the invoice from the producer to tell me how much I owe them. Here's the work for hire that says how much I paid them, and they sign off on it. You keep that for your records. So that can't nobody come after you legally and say you owe them some money. That's not difficult or complex. It's very simple, right? Legal song split memos in the corners with industry standard guidelines. Again, I just already talked about that. That's a split sheet. And all you need is a template, and basically it's a one-page thing. This is not rocket science where you need him to do it for you. Copyright registration. Again, this is not rocket science. Go to copyright.gov. You can do it yourself. It's very simple and easy. Plug it in. Just plug in information. Do it take a little bit of time? Yes, it do. Now you got AI. So maybe AI can do it for you if you just put in the logistics or the information for the song, right? Which is the ISRC code and everything else like that to identify the song among a litany of other songs. Publishing house registration and follow through. Same thing. It's the same thing. Now, instead of your copyright, it's your publishing. You dig what I'm saying? Whether that's through BMI, ASCAP, whoever is giving you in international publishing as well, you have to set up your own publishing company. I would do it. That's what I did. Don't take that much money. It's like $500 or something like that. You set up your own publishing company. You register yourself as a publisher and as an artist with these companies, and they gonna pay you. You have to do your publishing admin though. If you're not gonna administrate it yourself, you got people, Song Trust. You have companies who do admin, who do the administration for you so that you don't have to keep up with it. Royalty accounting, BW, BPS, and Nielsen registration. Again, that's all very easy to do. AI can do it for you. And if you need him to do it for you, then you have to pay him to do it. And where is that money coming from? If you got to pay the guest artist feature, if you got to pay the guest producer, then how you going to pay him to do all of this stuff for you? Where's that money coming from? Royalty accounting. You got to pay him to be your accountant, to keep account of your royalties for you to know where your money coming from. You can't do that yourself. Sample clearance registration. So give me the breakdown of that. How do you clear a sample? And I guarantee he tell you basically you got to reach out to somebody and y'all got to have some printed paperwork that say this is how much you're going to give them for you to use their sample, whether if they are okay with it and who owns it. It's not hard to find that out because those people want to make money. But if you do it without their knowledge or without their consent, depending on how big the record get, because the record might not even take off. They might not even care because you ain't even did nothing. Label, contract review, and accounts receivable, upkeep, etc. This is just more fancy terminology to say them to be able to keep up with your stuff that you don't have the time or the interest in. And I honestly, those are the type of artists that the game favors. It favors the lazy ones. Why they sitting up there talking about artists being lazy and sitting around with their dick in their hand? Those are the ones that y'all favor, because the ones that ain't lazy, you know what I'm saying, the ones that take initiative, that's on top of their business, y'all don't want nothing to do with them because they have no need for you. And you got an ego. You got a big head about yourself. You got all them plaques on that wall that you ain't made. None of that music, excuse me. None of that music was produced by you. None of it was created by you. Yeah? And so you need your ego stroked. So you want somebody who either A, don't know about none of that, or they not willing to take the time to learn it. Because if they already know it, you ain't gonna deal with it. So let's get into what some of this other stuff you got going on. Album and or related projects, label, distro, shopping. So basically, if you create an album or a related project, whether it's an EP, a mixtape, or whatever, they're going to shop it through labels and distribution. So the meat and bones of why clients hire me outside of constructing the best product possible and ensuring all the legal ins and outs are secured, connecting the artist to the money with the label and or distribution partner of their choice, independent and majors all considered. Why would an artist have a choice with who they want to distribute their record? They don't care. This ain't back in the day when you want to get signed by Def Jam or any artist out there tired of the producers being all in the videos. Come to Death Row. This ain't that. Niggas ain't trying to come to Death Row. Whoever got the most money and whoever making the most sense is who artists want to work with. This ain't back in the day. And so you don't really need him to do it unless he knows somebody that you don't know. And in that case, yeah, you're going to see what's out there. But he want to get paid for that. This is a service, right? Once a third-party deal is reached at the bequest, I don't know what bequest means, but I'm assuming request. At the request of the client, A&I shall also assume the additional role of project manager and work alongside the client and his supplemental team and the newly introduced personalities. Hold on. His supplemental team, who are they? Right? Because if the artist is coming to you and you got all this and all of that, they still got to have a team? Why they got to have a team? Ain't you the team? Ain't you bringing that? Ain't that what they paying you for? Don't you have all these connections? Yeah. So once the third party deal is reached, so let me guess. The artist is the first party, you the second party, and the label or the distribution is the third party? How is this working? I'm assuming that that's how this is working, right? The A&I shall assume the additional role of project manager. So it's not enough that they done connected you with somebody. He got to be the manager of the whole thing. He wants to be on top of it. He won't let the artist control it. And work alongside the artist and his supplemental team and the newly introduced personalities representing the third-party company to ensure all material points of marketing, promotions, sales viability, future revenue sharing, and more are all coordinated to the client's ultimate satisfaction. So that's the A&R portion of it that most artists would get behind. Most artists would get behind somebody coming in and ensuring that the marketing is there, the promotion is there, sales viability is there, and future revenue sharing and more are all coordinated to the client's ultimate satisfaction. Otherwise, why would they hire you? You dig what I'm saying? If you can't do this, then what are you here for? That's the only thing you need to be doing. But you don't need to assume the role of project manager to do that. And they don't need you to be in control of their copyrights and control of their publishing. And they don't need you to do all of that just for you to help them with marketing and promotion. But you want to make it to where you can get the most money. You're trying to squeeze them out and squeeze them for all they good for. So let's see what else he provides. Additional service titles rendered for the client include public relations and publicity coordination, including all blog media, print media, broadcast media, and related event branding. Hey, man, look here. Ain't nobody reading them blogs, homie. Ain't nobody reading them blogs except y'all, other A&Rs, other bloggers. Those is who reading the blog. Podcasters, quote-unquote journalists. They the ones who reading the blogs and then they go on their platforms and repeat what the blog said. They read it aloud for the audience who's actually listening to them. See, the blogs ain't got an audience. The podcasters got the audience. You dig? And the artists themselves have the audience. You can get something put in a blog and ain't nobody finna go to such-and-such.com to read it. Because ain't nobody going to such-and-such nothing to read nothing. Ain't nobody reading nothing. They barely gonna read a post on your Instagram or on your Twitter, depending on what you're talking about. Ain't nobody finna read no long, drawn-out post about a song that you put out or an album that you put out. They gonna just go listen to it if that's the case. Now, if you put something on a blog, it don't need but 3 words. Go listen to this, and that's more than 3 words. 4. You dig? How about this? Go listen now. Those are 3 words. That's it. That's all the blog need to see, because that's all people are willing to read. They not finna go into detail about all that. Print media. Give me what print media? What you talking about? Magazines? Somebody else? Who outside buying magazines? Who's sitting around reading magazines? My daddy used to do that. My daddy used to go buy Double XL, The Source. He used to go buy all of that in the 2000s. But guess why he did that? Because he wasn't on social media. It wasn't even invented. It wasn't a thing. He wasn't on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, none of that. I remember before he passed, he asked me like, hey man, they keep telling me to get a Facebook. Should I do it? I'm around like 19, 20 at the time. And my pops was like 38, 39, something like that. And he was like, should I do it? I'm like, nah, homie, don't do it. Nah, don't do it, Joe. It ain't for you. So he's somebody that's going to read a print magazine because he not on the internet. But most people that you trying to market to is. So what you going to put it in print for? Broadcast media and related event branding. What does that mean? Broadcast media. That's podcast, basically. If you can't reach out to Joe Budden, Bootleg Kev, who else got Drink Champs? If you can't reach out to one of these hip hop podcasts or people who cover music yourself, then apparently this fella can do it for you. But he gonna have to reach out to their manager now. He ain't not gonna be able to reach out to them directly either. He gonna have to reach out to their people. So it's like, yo, people get in touch with my people and then woo out the band. All the behind the scenes nonsense. And that's what you need him for. I can't really knock that. I can't really knock that. That would be something that I would consider if I was to do something. You know, I would do that. Terrestrial and satellite radio solicitation, placement in accompanying BPS reporting. Solicitation. What does it mean to solicit? Does it have anything to do with money? If I solicit you for something and I'm trying to sell you something, so terrestrial radio and satellite radio solicitation is payola. You need him so that you can take your money. Again, he not paying for this. It's going to be your money that you finna pay a DJ or a radio personality for them to either promote your record, talk about your record, or to interview you or play your song. You need him to reach out to them for that, and you got to pay him for that. You got to pay him for you to pay somebody else. And it's illegal. It's a federal crime. You're not supposed to be doing that. Radio DJs and satellite DJs, whoever, they supposed to be playing the music because either they like it or they think it's a good song that other people gonna like. Now, we all know that that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? How many people done went out there and admitted to payola? I think Cardi B, Funk Flex, like people out there talking about people who paying people to do this very thing that he talking about. Placement in the company BPS report, again, that's something that either AI can do for you or if you got enough sense and enough patience to sit down and do it yourself. Event production, one-off events like a pop-up shop, and full service tour booking and management. So you need him to create an event for you, whether it's to reach out to, whoever it is that's going to be staffing the event or just whoever it is that's going to be coming to it. You need him to help you produce that. And full service tour booking and management. So that's basically a tour manager. I don't know why you would have him doing all of this stuff because he just said he gonna do the publishing and everything else. Now he wants to book your tour for you. This is starting to look like a 360. It's starting to look like a 360 deal, and he don't even have a label. This is just a 360 deal with an A&R service. The A&R extraordinaire, as he calls himself. Booking agency coordination, tour booking and management. I thought that was what he just said that he would do with event production, but I guess that's a whole separate charge. He's gonna charge you twice for the same thing. Label distribution company accounting liaison between artist and third party. You need him to talk to the label for you or the distribution company for you because you're not smart enough to do it yourself. This is all showing how this is all rigged, and it's not rigged for you to win on me. This is all rigged for you to fail because once they done squeezing the juice out you, I don't know what's going to be left of you. I don't know what's going to be left of you. And again, they're gonna still say it's your fault as the artist. They're not going to take no accountability for none of this. What else he got? Standard M80 retainer and terms. Now we getting to it. Now we getting to the money. $20,000 to $75,000 upfront retainer. You can't even talk to him. Just to holler at them, you gotta have $20,000 to $75,000 I don't know where you getting this money from, because this is before you blow up now. See, he's working with established people. He talking about Rakim, Ghostface Killer. He talking about all these people that's already established now. And you ain't got no business going to him unless you got $20,000 to $75,000. And if you got $20,000 to $75,000, what you need him for? If you got that money to give him, why wouldn't you bypass him and give it to who you need to give it to? I tell you why. Because they got it set up to where you can't go talk to nobody else. You can't go bring them the money up front. You can't come with a brown paper bag. You can't even come with a briefcase full of money and sit it on somebody's desk and say, on some Stringer Bell, Clay Davis, I'm ready to run. And they gonna do exactly what Clay Davis did to Stringer Bell. Shit. They gonna talk to you about the golden goose. They gonna talk to you about the golden faucet. They're going to tell you a whole bunch of nonsense, take you up somewhere, shake somebody's hand, and walk out and say, you're in. Which ain't true at all. And you finna give him all this money up front now. He ain't shown himself, he ain't proved himself to you. He got a bunch of plaques on his wall. He know a bunch of people, and they going to vouch for him because they're a part of the game. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. They finna do it for him, and he going to do it for them when they get them a sucker. Sucker. You dig? They gonna do the same thing for him. That's not all though. That's not all, folks. What else he got up here? A 10 to 15% signing bonus off the artist advancement, or 1 year net plus a to be determined royalty rate. So he won't even tell you what the rate is. That's gonna be determined. We'll wait and see. That's the equivalent of somebody saying, "What's your budget?" You say, "Hey man, how much you charge for Woo Out the Band? What's your budget?" Yeah, I mean, I got some money, you know what I'm saying? But really, I'm just trying to see how much you charge, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to know before I can do, what's your budget? They won't tell you what they charge because they're going to base what they charge off how much money you got, which is a scam. They trying to rip you off. So how you going to start off trying to rip somebody off and then get mad when they don't listen to you? Or get mad, no, they don't want to put up their own money. Look how much money you asking them to put up. And for what? For something that they can either do by themselves or AI can do for them. They can get artificial intelligence to do it for them. And if they got any kind of sense, then they'll know that you trying to rip them off. You dig what I'm saying? Now, I got to give you $20,000 to $75,000 up front. And you got to get a 10 to 15% signing bonus off the artist advancement because you the liaison, right? You the one that's in between them and the artist or the label or the distribution company. So you know exactly how much they finna get. You negotiating on their behalf, but you getting something for yourself. And so you need 10 to 15% of that. Well, that's management rates. You're a manager at this point. You're a manager at this point. You're not just A&R extraordinaire. You're a manager disguising yourself. And you got a to be determined royalty rate. So you want a piece of their earnings. That's either you get a signing bonus percentage or the first year net plus a royalty rate percentage of the album's post release for up to 3 full calendar years based on artist history. Come on, dog. If you can read or if you can comprehend what this is, why would you agree to any of this stuff homie talking about, man? And this is his standard retainer in terms. Every individual client, project, company request for services consideration is up for negotiation to be determined between company and prospective clients. In the event company provides a fee either lesser than, higher than the standard range of retainer fees as noted above, doing so at the sole discretion of company A&R on a per project basis. Independent full service client works begin at $20,000, subject to negotiation. Either you can negotiate less or he can negotiate more. Fees for independent A&R tasks such as A&R admin, legal, or A&R label distribution shopping starting at $7,500 plus. All of this is basically telling you how much money you owe him and he ain't did nothing for you. And it ain't no guarantee that people gonna like your music. Ain't no guarantee that people gonna like you. It probably ain't got nothing to do with the music. It's just you and your character, your personality. I'm not even finna go through the rest of this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even finna go through the rest of this contract that homie got going on because it's laughable at this point. It's laughable at this point. As you can clearly see, this is what blood on. This is what he talking about. And, you know, this is what he got going on. I'm not into it. I'm not rolling. I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? That's on blood. If anybody want to work with dude, that's on y'all if y'all want to work with dude. But so if these people are guaranteeing results, where's the competitive element? Because that's not something that I'm not seeing anybody talk about that, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to compete to get representation. You just got to pay for it. You got to pay for it, right? You have to sign away your life and hope somebody don't fuck you over. You know what I'm saying? You have to hope that somebody is virtuous enough to do exactly what they say they're going to do, but they're going to rob you in the process. Because behind the scenes is where competition goes to die. Behind the scenes is where competition goes to die. And so my question is, does competition matter if the game is rigged for you to lose or if it's rigged for you to win? Right? Either one. Does competition matter? Because most of us are honing our skills so that we can compete. Whether it's rap skills, vocal skills, singing ability, performing skills, whether you trying to get you a good performance, you in front of the mirror, whatever it is that you're doing, or you end up picking the best beats because you want your songs themselves to be able to compete, or you making sure that you in shape, you going to the gym, you look good as an artist, you're taking care of your skin and your hygiene because you want to be able to compete in the marketplace. But apparently you don't need to be competitive if you got this quote unquote A&R extraordinaire. You just need him. You know what I'm saying? You can't generate an audience, problem solved. You don't need to generate an audience. You need to generate enough money to be able to pay these people and they're going to generate the audience for you. Or you need to be able to let them have complete control over you, or they pick the songs, they pick the beats, they pick everything for you. And, you don't have to worry about nothing. According to them. Apparently, that's all you need to do. You don't need to compete. Artists who have a strong presence but no following, they get jealousy and envy instead of support. You dig? So while there is no competitiveness, quote unquote, with yourself, the people behind the scenes are competing with you, right? They will either be jealous of your ability to generate attention for yourself in the rooms that y'all in, or they'll be envious of the fact that you are what they never could be. Because you don't want to just be an A&R. You want to be an entertainer. You want to be famous. You want to be the talent, but you don't have the talent. And so while you're working alongside the talent and they signing their life over to you and they giving you all their money that they worked hard for, simultaneously you're envious of them for who they are. You dig? And if you're not doing everything that you can do for them, you want to try to humble them as a person, right? When that's got nothing to do with business. You want to try to make the artist humble. And that's taking the last thing that they got from them is their confidence. Because if you done already took their money, you done took their creative process and what songs they pick and how they record in the recording process, now you want to try to humble them and take away their confidence in themselves when it has nothing to do with business. Those other things you can try to conflate and make it seem as if this is going to make them more viable in the marketplace. So they got to do what you say do. But the portion of it that I don't like, that I see all the time, is that people would try to humble a confident artist. I remember when I was a little boy, Missy Elliott had this TV show. I don't know if some of y'all remember this show. Missy Elliott had a TV show where she was helping somebody be the next star. They always got these shows where we're going to take an average everyday person, get him off a Greyhound bus, and we're going to turn him into the star of the millennium. And it was a dude on this show that Missy Elliott had. And he was confident in himself. He wasn't that good of a rapper, singer, nothing. But he had this confidence. And I remember when she was talking to him, she was whispering to him. And the microphone picked up what she was saying, and they had the subtitles. And she was whispering to him, she said, "You think you a star, don't you?" But she wasn't saying it in a way that she appreciated his confidence. She said it in a way that she wanted to humble him or take that away from him by saying, "You think you a star, don't you? You think you a superstar, don't you?" And he didn't win. He didn't make it to the end of her show. She got him up out of there. And the person that she actually chose to win was some very humble, meek and mild. I was homeless for my... Oh my God, they love home. They love these homeless people. I'm so sick of the homeless entertainer. Can we get rid of the homeless? I slept in my car. I slept on the bus stop. Can we get rid of that? Because that don't produce longevity. It don't. There's a comedian by the name of Tiffany Haddish, and that was her whole thing. That was her whole identity. She slept in her car. She washed up at the gym or washed up in the bathroom at the comedy club. Kevin Hart saw her, took a liking to her, saw how bad her situation is, and he wanted to help her because of her situation. Now, fast forward to today, Tiffany Haddish is very successful. She owes that to Kevin Hart. She do. Whether she acknowledges it or not, she owes it to Kevin Hart because he took a chance on her. But why did he take a chance on her? Was it because she was a great comedian? Obviously not. Because many people will say that Tiffany Haddish is not funny. I got nothing personal against Tiffany Haddish. Has she said funny things? Probably. But is she a funny comedian? No. Whether that's stand-up or in movies, it's this over-the-top ghetto act. You have to do this over-the-top with shucking and jiving like type of like act that don't really translate well with today's audience because most black folks don't act like that. Back then, they didn't act like that. Those were niche people. And then to find out that you're Eritrean, you're African, you're not even American. So why would you be doing that sort of thing? It's a mockery. You mocking us and you putting it out there as if you that. But who wants you to push that? Some homeless act. So Missy Elliott chose the homeless girl. I forget her name, but the song that they even chose was whack. And nothing happened. She won the show. She cried and everything. I wonder if she's homeless today. I wonder what happened to the person who won the Missy Elliott TV show contest of 2006 or whatever that was. Who won? Where is this person at? Yeah? Is she still homeless? Because nothing happened immediately thereafter. The best track record is American Idol. American Idol got the best track record of people coming from humble beginnings and making it. But guess what? It was based on talent, not because they weren't confident, not because they was homeless, but because they had talent. They had judges there, they had an audience there that would watch it, and they would choose this artist based on that. And who I remember winning it was Ruben Studdard. I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry. Yeah, he had a song called I'm Sorry 2004. I don't know why he was sorry to 2004. If you listen to the song, maybe he'll tell you why. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. So, Ruben Studdard won American Idol. I think Clay Aiken won American Idol. Fantasia won. So I got something funny about all three of these people. And it got to do with Mad TV and in this movie called Sex Drive, right? So let's deal with Ruben Studdard and Fantasia first. So I was watching this episode of Mad TV, and this is like toward the end of Mad TV, but it was funny. Some dude was on the show interviewing this girl, and not a girl, this woman. She's a comedian. I don't know her name, but she was impersonating or doing an impression of Fantasia. She was sitting there talking, and she doing a Fantasia or whatever, and old boy is talking to her, right? And he talking to her, and at the end of it, he said, "Who the hell are you?" And she was like, "I'm What the Bam. I'm Fantasia. I won American Idol." He was like, "I ain't see you on American Idol. It wasn't you. It was that morbidly obese fella, Ruben Sandwich." They called the nigga Ruben Sandwich, not Ruben Studdard, right? And that's about all you gonna know about him. Fantasia went on to do great things. You know what I'm saying? She got the black women anthems. She got the ghetto anthems. You know what I'm saying? B-A-B-Y. This goes out to all my baby mamas. I got love for all my baby mamas. Like, what's the other one? When I See You. Oh, man, don't let Chicago play that When I See You, boy. I said they kind of in the middle. Like, they love that, homie. But Fantasia got talent. And Ruben Studdard at first, they was playing that I'm Sorry on GCI. They was playing He Was Sorry. They ain't playing it no more. Fantasia survived. But Clay Aiken, right? He didn't survive at all. Clay Aiken was a gay white boy who won American Idol, I think. He was on it, he won it, I don't know. But he didn't have no songs. He didn't come out with a Sorry 2004, a Baby Mama Anthem, When I See You, When I See Nothing, right? He didn't come out with nothing. He became a punchline. Now, it's this movie called Sex Drive. Came out in like 2009. One of the funniest movies in the world. One of them horny teenage movies where some dude, we must get laid. He got to go get some pussy. He's having a very hard time. Right? And he got an older brother, right? So look, why Shorty, he went to sleep naked. No, he didn't go to sleep naked. He went to sleep when he had a wet dream, right? He had a wet dream about some girl he was talking to on the internet. And he wake up and he done nutted on himself. So he take his drawers off and throw them in the little basket, the little hamper thing. And before he can get up and grab him off the floor, his brother busts in the door, so he had to cover himself up with his blanket. So his brother busts in the door like Ian, the Jet Rose. No, not the Jet. What's the name of his car? The Judge. He had this what kind of car? It was a Camaro or something, I think, right? And he was like, the Judge rolls out in 20 minutes, so if you want to ride to work, you better get up, right? And he was like, okay, I get up in him. And he was like, no, now, Clay Aiken. Because he kept calling his brother gay. And so when he told him to get out of bed, he called him Clay Aiken. No, now, Clay Aiken. So another part of the movie, he driving him to school. He said, Ian, I'm going to ask you a question. I just want to answer straight up. He said, you queer? He said, what? God damn it, I knew it. He said, what you talking about? If somebody asks you if you're a pole smoker, you just deny it flat out. You don't fight around. So he called a nigga Clay Aiken. That's it. So all of these shows, man, where they quote unquote taking somebody and they giving them opportunity to be something big. Only one that really got through was Fantasia, and she got through because the ghetto put her up there. The people did. You know what I'm saying? The people that she represent or feel like she represents them, that's how they feel. They put her up there. Not an A&R, not a label. The TV show gave them visibility. So you better off trying to get on, what's that called? X Factor? What are these shows where people push buttons and turn around? CeeLo Green is a judge. You know what I'm saying? Gwen Stefani. You better, was Toby Keith, whatever one of these white boys. You better off going on a show like that than paying this dude $20,000 and $75,000 because where the money coming from? He talking about 38 special. These is drug dealers. If you listen to 38 Special, he tell you how much dope he sold and everything like that. So I got to go sell some dope to get this crazy amount of money and then give it to you and hope that you do well by me, you do right by me. Because you ain't the reason 38 Special is out here popping in the blogs today. It's because what he said about Kiss. His not beef, rivalry, whatever, his little back and forth with Jadakiss is the reason why people is talking about 38 Special. But if I see him rapping on Sway, if I see a clip of him on Sway doing a 5 beats, the death, whatever, 5 fingers of death beat thing, I'm going to look at it and say, man, homie can rap. Look how talented homie is. And I might go listen to his music. Did you have something to do with that? Oh, I'm the reason he got on Sway. Are you? Maybe you is. I don't know. Maybe you reached out to Sway. Maybe Sway is plugged into hip hop and he liked 38 Special's music. And he asked 38 Special to come on. I don't know how this works. I'm asking questions. This is the Ask Mad show. I just want to know if it's worth it to pay somebody like you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because you can beat another artist in terms of sound, marketability, performance, polished image, but you lose in the politics. So maybe people do need you to do the politics part. You know what I'm saying? And if an artist has all of these things, they got their sound, they got the marketability, they got their performance game on lock, they got a polished image, the culture gonna tell them to try harder because they're not able to make gains in the political space. Behind the scenes, they not able to reach out to a Sway or reach out to a Big Boy. You dig what I'm saying? They're not able to reach out to these people because people like you is standing in the way. You standing in the middle, and it costs $20,000 to $75,000 to get past you. That's not a viable option for a guy like me. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not finna kiss ass or suck dick in order to get that. Because that's basically what you got to do. When they tell you to try harder, they telling you to kiss ass or suck dick. I'm not doing neither one of those. And if I got $20,000 to $75,000 to give to somebody like you, why wouldn't I just keep it and live like a rapper do? Like, why wouldn't I just keep my money and spend it on the things that niggas in the lifestyle are trying to gain anyway and still put out music? Because whether it's streaming or whether you selling merch or whatever it is, the audience that you generate ain't gonna be on the backs of people like this. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to think that because he's selling you an illusion. He's selling you the illusion that you can be rich and famous if you trust him. That's if that's what you want. If you trying to go to the Rock Nation brunch, but Hov just said no more brunches. So you can't even go to that. What you trying to do? Be on Sway so you can rap? You don't need to be on Sway so you can rap. You create your own YouTube channel. What's them niggas called? Coast Contra? It's some niggas called Coast Contra. They sit at this big old table and they be rapping and dumping it. Hey yo, I got off the bus. They got with the bus and they come with the rush. And people like it. They reposting it, they like it. These niggas is doing kick punch y'all. They like it's a cipher. These niggas is doing ciphers, but it's all premeditated. It's a premeditated cipher where it's basically a song that they doing with no hook. They doing a song with no hook, and one person go to this person go to that, and they all going in the cipher, but it's not a freestyle situation. And they got their camera angle set up, and they theatrical, and they doing this, that, and the other, and it went viral. It caught its wave, and now people just tune in for them to do their freestyle ciphers. People are tuning in for that. They didn't have to go to Sway to do that. You know what I'm saying? As far as doing an interview, if you want to be able to talk about your joint and you can't get to Big Boy, then you create your own platform where you talk about your own joints. And if people like your music or if people like your personality, they're going to be able to put them two and two together. And you won't have to pay $20,000 to $75,000 to this mug for him to put you with them people. So the truth is, some of us don't need to be a breakout star in entertainment because we was born like that. You know what I'm saying? Some of us was born with it already. No matter what room we go in, no matter who in that room with us, we shine, homie. I done been in rooms with celebrities and they stand at me like this. Who is that? They looking at me like this. Who is that? And I turn around and look like, damn, is they looking at me? Yeah, they looking at me. And it showed me that they are just mere mortals. Like Mike Tyson said, he's just a mere mortal. He has no idea the kind of pain that I would put on him. That was young Mike Tyson. This is the older Mike Tyson. He has no idea this is a mere mortal. I'm a god amongst men. I'm a god amongst men. I'm a god sin. You dig what I'm saying? Akhenaten. This is real. Real life, homie. Your favorite producers, your favorite artists, whoever it is, DJs, whatever, I done been in rooms with them and they looking at me like this. So what that tell me? That tell me I don't need to pay nobody nothing to be me, who I'm already is. And if you got to pay money to go anyway, then if you want to go, go. They offer VIP tickets, nigga. If you got $20,000 to $75,000 to get an old boy, you got enough for a backstage pass, my nigga. Cost you a few racks, I believe. If you really want to be around them people that bad, say it's a festival or something. We in Chicago, Lollapalooza just passed. You know, I done been to Lollapalooza and I done been in the artist lounge. I done been backstage, artist lounge, all this and that, whatever. Guess what? The people that's back there, they back there eating cold food, sitting in tents that was put together, look bogus, and they back there eating cold food and being important around each other. Eating ice cream, slushies, whatever, some nasty food that somebody done made, and they back there looking at you because you out there in the crowd, you out there in the mix, and they better than you because they back here drinking liquid death water for free, whatever, right? And they get to be around other celebrities or, you know, people who are quote unquote big deals, big time managers and whatnot. I met Shaq manager through a homie. And, you know, apparently he throws big parties or whatever. And I didn't try to appeal to that fella. I just, okay, the conversation is happening. You just in the conversation. You might not say nothing. They might ask you a question. You might chime in, whatever. These are mere mortals. These is regular people, homie. You dig what I'm saying? I learned that I already got what it is that they trying to sell to you. You dig what I'm saying? And so you don't need the game. I mean, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't need the game to put me on if I already live like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? The part that I can't control is the politics. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't control it, then I don't fit in it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a damn about it. You know what I'm saying? Like Kiss say, I helped the game. It ain't helped me. I'm top 5 dead or alive, and that's just off one LP. You know what I'm saying? If Kiss is sitting up there telling you that the game ain't helped him, that's a confession. That's a testimony. He basically telling you that all of that ain't do nothing for me, but all of that I did so much for the game. And I could say ditto to that. You know what I'm saying? I could sit back here and say, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Give me a hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I could sit back here and give you a hell yeah on that one, homie. You know what I'm saying? Because out of all the energy, time, effort, money, politics, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't being fake with nobody. You just being cool. Some things that you wouldn't ordinarily let slide, you be like, man, don't trip out on that. You know, what the band? These people, that's how they live. They living like that. They weirdos, whatever. Because you don't want to go around punching everybody in their face. You ain't going to be able to make it nowhere. Again, this ain't the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Where they was running around punching on people and beating people up. They do not tolerate that. So the artist got fingernail polish, the football player, everybody is feminine. They got, you know, purses on and whatnot because they don't want DMXs running around with pit bulls barking at niggas. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They don't want Tupac Thug Life niggas running around with guns and whatnot and beating up on the Hughes brothers for being marks. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't do that because they not going to have you around. But they want to be able to do the little things that they do. And you let some of it slide, but you can't let all that stuff slide because if anything, they marking you now. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, Kiss wasn't just talking when he said he helped the game. It ain't helped him. You know what I'm saying? But he came out in the era where all the things that I mentioned was all that you needed for an opportunity. All you needed to do was be able to rap well. All you needed to do was have marketability. All you needed was a polished image. And you needed good music. And that was that. That's it. Today, there are no opportunities because economically speaking, you funding their lives while they starve you out the game. You dig? Yo, $20,000 to $75,000 that you giving them, you feeding them. You funding their life, their livelihood. Their livelihood is vulturing or parasiting off of you. They siphoning the money out of you, sucking the blood from you, right? And at the same time, they starving you out the game by putting themselves, wedging themselves in between you and the third party, which is the label of the distribution or the blog sites or the, you know, terrestrial and satellite radio. They wedging themselves between you, starving you out the game and you funding their life. You know what I'm saying? Nah. I would take that same money that you would have spent on PR and buy a business. You did what I'm saying? Go buy a business. $20,000 to $75,000 ain't enough to buy a business, but it's enough to clean up your credit. It's enough to establish different modes of credit and enough for you to be able to go get some loans for you to be able to buy a business. And now you live like that. You know what I'm saying? Still go to the studio and create, you know what I'm saying? But release the music on your own platforms. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's physical or digital download. Who gives a fuck how much it's sold? You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it streaming because most niggas is taking their music off streaming or they not putting it on there like that. You seen what T.I. just did. T.I. just put out his record and you saw him back at record stores signing albums. They going back to physical and sitting in the store and signing it. And T.I. is T.I. Multi-platinum Grammy. T.I. is T.I. And he's sitting there as people coming in with a Sharpie and signing it because he know that what homie talking about ain't about nothing. And he's a legacy act, but he not finna do what Rakim is doing. Because Rakim might not be savvy in this time period. So he need a fella like that who ain't finna do nothing but leech off him. And at the end of the day, if it don't work, tell Rakim it's his fault. So you should still do all of that same stuff you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Get your money, but you getting your money from other ventures. You ain't getting your money off music sales like that. You doing that because you love to make music. You're an artist. And if you live in like a big time rapper, then you don't need these people to make these things happen for you. You know what I'm saying? Because music ain't paying people. Corporations pay people. You dig what I'm saying? So if you need to, build the company, fill the catalog, you know what I'm saying? Leave these playmakers in the dust. These A&R extraordinaires, leave them behind. You know what I'm saying? They can't pay their bills if you don't pay them. I'm going to repeat that. They can't pay their bills if you don't pay them. So they need you to pay them for them to even exist. And if they in between you and what you trying to accomplish, we don't need them to exist. It's in your best interest to not pay them so that they disappear. You know what I'm saying? And if they won't play fair with you, don't pay them. That's it. If they not giving you the results that you are looking for, if they not satisfying you in one way or another based on the money that you gave them, stop giving them money. Stop giving them money. And I just want to say to any artists out there, I just want to say this to you. If any of you are tired of getting ripped off by guys like that, you come with me. I'm at the Plaza Hotel. You're welcome. You're all welcome. Enjoy.